Hi, how you doing?
I'm here.
Is that really how you feel?
I'm excited.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, this is
I'm
it.
excited
We're
to do
doing
this.
it.
But I'm trying to put my mind into actually doing it and not how it's going to turn out.
Definitely.
Because like I said, most days in quarantine, my answer has been I'm here like Celie, because that's my favorite answer to that question.
And a correct one.
She said she is beautiful and things are raggedy, but she's here. And I relate to that deeply. But yeah, no, I'm excited to be doing this. That's my primary emotion.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah. Are you really good?
I'm not. If you know, you know. No, I'm not doing well, but I'm very happy. I'm very proud of us for doing this. And like Celie, I'm gonna take a deep breath, hold my head up.
Put your shoulders back. We're not gonna look them straight in the eye, because then that's when we get confused and awkward.
But that's what this is about, you know. It's about showing up and doing the work that's needed. So
I was telling some of my friends yesterday that one thing I learned in high school, which I'm grateful that I learned it young. When you ask a energy bigger than yourself for something, you're going to be tested on it, because you won't know if you have it unless you get tested. Like, she was like, how you gonna ask for patience? And then your patience gets tested and you're mad.
Yeah.
How would you have known that you're patient? You didn't have to practice it. You didn't have to try it. Definitely. And that's how I feel about our discipline with this.
Definitely.
Because I was like, we said this weeks ago. I was like, if we do this, the issue will be discipline with time, because our schedules are insane even when we're in the house.
Right.
And, just like mood-wise and energy-wise.
Yeah.
Like,
well, because we're like very energy-based people. I mean, it really does affect us, but it really does affect us. So it matters, because we had to really ask ourselves if we were going to show up for this every week. And of course we are. But it was a question we had to ask ourselves before saying, yes, we're going to do this.
But then that actually helped us narrow down the name of it, because I was like, well, if we're posing the question, you good, sis? If the answer is no, the answer is no.
Exactly.
But if we show up and talk about that, then that's a step further than what we're trying to avoid, which is the cycle of living in our identities as broad as being a Black woman is, a young Black woman. As broad as that identity is, it's also marginalized in 3,000 different ways. So if we don't heal and move intentionally, then that's when we get to this phrase that millennials and Gen Z are obsessed with, like generational trauma. Is real.
Very
stress lives in your body, it lives in your muscles, it lives in your DNA. Your body chemistry changes to accommodate stress. And so to act like that's not going to live and stay in you or change the behavior that I was like, well, we're grown now. Like millennials are what, like 25 to 40, 41, something like that.
Yeah.
Like we have, not me, you, but
I'm like,
the children. Years ago, I was working as a teaching artist, and this preschooler looked me dead in the face. I was in the ground playing with them, and the preschooler looked me dead in the face, and he was like, "You remind me of my mom."
Yeah.
And I was like,
I shouldn't.
And that was a couple years ago. So I'm like, we have to learn how to move and speak and not hurt with intention, but hurt with perspective.
With foresight.
Yeah.
And speaking of generational trauma, my therapist was actually just talking to me about this, and she said the trauma that you experience, maybe from your parents or whoever you were raised by, the trauma that you've experienced actually goes 7 generations back. So you're dealing with your grandmother, your great-grandmother, or whatever, your grandfather, great-grandfather, for 7 generations.
So our trauma,
we have to... Yeah, I mean, what we have in this day and age, in this world that's really nice, is as millennials, we have this perspective of, okay, well then we have to start breaking that cycle. And that's why we're here.
Yeah. It's also because we get information and process other people's perspectives and feelings so much more rapidly.
Definitely.
Than not everyone else, because like Gen Z and them, y'all know how to use apps I don't know how to spell. But I wouldn't even say all of Gen X. It depends on how active they are with technology, but definitely our parents and grandparents and great-grandparents. But yeah, 7 generations back from right now, it's like when people try to act like Jim Crow was far away, or slavery was far away, or even being in West Africa was far away. It's not. I think you understand how time works.
I saw this meme the other day that had this photo of Martin Luther King Jr., Anne Frank, and
it was
Barbara
Walters,
and it said they would all be the same age as Barbara Walters today. I mean, that blew my mind. Call me late, behind, slow.
I mean,
that blew my mind.
But who is normally thinking of Martin Luther King Jr. and Barbara Walters in the same sentence in their mind?
And we think it's so far back. It's a generation ago.
It's really not. So how
did we get to our title?
We got to You Good Sis because we wanted to actively ask the question and honestly answer it. Because 2 of my favorite artists ever, Ntozake, Shange, and William Shakespeare. One thing I love about their work, at least their character work as writers, is their characters feel a problem, speak the problem, say what they're going to do about the problem. But they talk about how they feel about it, and they talk about what they're going to do about it. And I was like, well, checking in with how we feel, I want to talk about how we feel about it.
Definitely. And
also what we're going to do about it. But it's so tedious. I think a lot of the time I forget, so I'm sure other people forget, that there is room and also an obligation to have fun with it. Because if it's just a weight for you, then that lesson won't then be something to celebrate or share with joy. There's some lessons our parents and grandparents will teach us with resentment.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be spoken that way. Your pain and your lessons don't have to be spoken that way. Yeah. So you good, sis? When you're checking on your friend, you're saying you good? It's more active than saying, are you okay, or how are you, or whatever. Because if you ask someone you good, then I feel normally if I'm asked that question, I feel a little bit more room to answer truthfully and presently. Definitely. It's definitely more of a yuck. I want to say homegirl, but also yuck. I don't want to say that, but it's more it's real. It's present. It's casual.
Also, I mean, sis too, for us at least, is not gender exclusive. It's just I actually saw, and I'm this is gonna be me. I'm gonna be the girl that constantly talks about memes. But I actually saw a meme the other day that said sis is now becoming a genderless phrase, along with dude or whatever, all of those things, just because we have such a huge population of queer people now, openly out queer people now, that are just throwing it around so much that now people are picking it up, and even though it started with us.
For a lot of people, it has been a very present term, very gender neutral term, and then when people start to appropriate using said things, they lose a lot of the heart behind, just saying throwing sis. Right. It's still a term of endearment. Even when you're using it to check someone, if you're using sis as a way to regard them, it's still I'm gonna not attack you here, but I do have a question.
And Lexi is also very experienced at asking me said questions, so that's why I'm here. Yeah. But on the topic of You Good Sis,
so the goal is healing, wellness-ish, like we've been saying.
Wellness adjacent.
Wellness suggestion.
Therapists and running and up and I don't know.
Pointing to a therapist. That's the energy.
Exactly.
So we have a lot of segments that we've rehearsed because
theater
is
at our core.
Never gonna leave us. COVID can take the girls out of the theater.
But listen, honey. No, our first segment is Ain't That And like we said, you can go over to our YouTube if you want a better understanding of what each of these titles mean to us. Yeah. But we're just gonna jump right into it.
Yeah. Ain't That is essentially current events mixed with art association, so you can kind of internalize what's going on. We're gonna start with some national and world news, as outrageous as that has been since forever.
Yeah. What's got your panties in a knot?
Everything. Everything. I wanted to make sure to speak the names of so many I was going to say black souls, but that's not accurate because the black lives were lost.
Yeah.
But because we honor and speak to and celebrate the souls of these people, that's why we still speak these names and fight these fights. It's not only for our sake, you know? Mm-hmm. It's also to honor who we've lost. Yeah. We've lost a lot of people since we got here 400 some years ago. Definitely lost a great deal of people in the public eye in the last couple of months.
Yeah.
In the more broad public eye than where we're used to grieving and mourning. Because I even told someone recently, I said, these wounds aren't new. You're just looking at them. And that adds to the discomfort, but is, necessary for the sake of forward movement and revolution and people who are interested in being active allies.
Definitely, but it makes it so much harder when you're watching deaths publicized. Anyway, we all know. We all know.
We know, and in crafting this part, I was nervous to forget names or mispronounce names or leave names out, but in attempting to speak them and respect them and learn more when I'm not doing it as fully, that's a part of it.
That's what matters.
That's a part of speaking. Yeah. We've lost a lot of black folks recently to state violence, racist acts, misogynist acts, sexual violence, queerphobic, transphobic acts, and even combinations of these things. Because like we said, being black women, it's like multiple slowdowns.
Yeah, it's a layer
of oppression. But that applies to a lot of identities in the black community. It's like you're not one thing or one label, but all of the things that you are definitely inform how this world and this country treats you. So instead of diving into a lot of these traumatizing, violent, devastating headlines, I just want to speak some names that I did manage to connect and take a moment of silence for these lives. We're going to speak the names of Breonna Taylor, of Oluwatoyin Salou, of Ahmaud Arbery, George Floyd, Tony McDade, Nakia Crawford, T.T. Gully, Rayshard Brooks, Ayanna Dior, Nina Pop, and we're going to insert revolutionary side-eye here for the lynchings of Robert Fuller, Malcolm Harsh, Dominique Alexander, because
lynchings is accurate.
That revolutionary side-eye, as I named it, is because there's a lot of speculation, not amongst the people I talk to or commune with, about the manner in which these people passed or were killed or lost their lives. I don't feel any speculation about it. But for those who do, and a lot of them unfortunately are in policy and serving and protecting us, I want to make clear that even if in the delusion of this not being a racist, violent, murderous act, the very demands of what it takes for them to have existed is foul play. Like what they had to live with and endure passively or actively or whatever. That is foul play. So for these lives to end on trees is foul play, regardless of how you choose to say without knowing how it happened. Foul play.
Definitely.
Foul play, yeah.
Definitely.
Foul play.
Thank you for speaking on that.
Yeah, for sure. So we're going to take a brief moment of silence for this list and for everyone we weren't able to include. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Lexi.
Yeah, so we're gonna, the association part of the game, I'm going to speak to one of my favorite artists walking this earth, Eryn Kane. Love her so much.
You stand.
I stand. I have, it's not even a philosophy, it's just a fact. There's nothing theoretical about it. But there are three artists that I've loved and respected my whole life, where if they ever said, this is the one about an artist, I will listen to that artist's entire discography. And those artists are Prince, Stevie Wonder, and Quincy Jones. If any of those people said in their lives, or have said in their lives, they're still living, this is the one, I will download everything.
This kid has got it.
Everything. With Prince, we have Eryn Kane and Janelle Monáe. With Stevie Wonder, we have Andra and Sheléa. With Quincy Jones, again, like Sheléa and Eryn Kane. Even there was a video of her singing a Prince number with Quincy Jones in the room, and I'm like, this is too much for my soul. But I went to
Lexi's level of stand-up will never compare.
It's just so deep. It's just ingenuine. That's the thing. It's not really mean it.
She be talking about these people. I love it.
Yeah, but it's like, I'll be talking. I do be talking. But you're my friend, so you get the heat of it. Yeah. But Eryn Kane, there are 3 songs in particular I'm just going to breeze through. Yeah. That speak to what I feel when I considered and took that moment of silence. The first of those being Have Mercy, which is one of the first tracks of hers I ever heard. I want to say it was 2016, 2017.
That's how you introduced me to Eryn Kane. You sent me that track.
That's how anyone can be introduced to anything. That track.
Now you know.
That track. But a lyric that particularly stands out in this conversation, she asked, tell me, what is it you care for? Is there even any care at all? Praying for sense and direction, praying for love and protection. And I feel like every beat of that speaks to the moment we just took and the moment we've all been taking. Some of us for different amounts of times, but still taking. And then we have How Many Times, which I feel like the name of that song tells you why I chose it. But she asked, how many lives do we have to give up? And I love that collective we, because in college at Howard, I learned what fictive kinship really means, and how, Black people walk in this world, a lot of us walk in this world, and even in this country, and it's like, oh, I see you, I like that, that's my cousin, that's not my cousin, but it's like there's this fictive kinship, because our relationships and families were forced.
We feel tied to every Black person. They are family.
We had to create family when families were dismembered and then brought and then dismembered from there even. Exactly. So the fictive kinship is very real, very part of who we are. So how many lives do we have to give up? And she says we march on and on and on. And when the song was recorded, I'm like, yeah, we do march, and we've been marching, and I am marching. And then like a couple years later, I'm like, she's preaching. And then the last is Fragile, which is a more recent release from hers. And I believe she actually directed the music video for that as well. Gorgeous video. Watch that. And that specifically speaks to generational trauma. And like we mentioned before, generational trauma changes how we behave and how we teach and how we speak to ourselves and to the people around us. And so how are we identifying and moving in generational trauma in a way where we can create something like she has done with this song? I mean, just listen to her.
I mean, and you will too, Stan. I need to listen as well.
Love her.
We love her.
Love her. And even the bravery to feel these things and share them artistically.
I'm so glad you found that connection with 3 damn songs.
I was determined.
Get it, girl. So I'm going to talk about the spike in corona cases, and for my few pieces of fact that I'm going to spit, because I usually just spit in general, this is what I think I saw, but we're actually referencing the New York Times, which says that Arizona, Texas, and Florida are reporting their highest case numbers yet. As of this Saturday, coronavirus cases were climbing in 22 states amongst this reopening that we're doing, which seems so sudden. It seems so sudden. But before we talk about it, I just want to get out my art association immediately. So I'm going to relate this to the Great Blue Cantrell's Hit 'em Up style. I wrote my own little verse. Hey, Americans, if you want to try and go without a mask, then COVID ain't gonna pass. So you better stay inside, because if you slip up, we all gonna be fucked. That's many more.
When you find out your roommate's a songwriter.
Listen, I mean, they just come to me.
Wow.
But let's fucking talk about it. I mean, like, I'm personally from Kentucky, and when this all started, I retreated home, definitely, because it was terrifying sounding in New York. And just the thought of the idea of how numbers were spiking in New York City, I mean, it was just, like, scary to even sit here, so I left. And in Kentucky, I mean, quickly it was like nothing had happened. And now we see their spikes in these numbers, too.
Yeah. I think people are taking their safety and health for granted, because one thing to consider is reopenings aren't the country or state saying it is safe to be amongst each other and commune the way you're used to doing. They're saying we need to open these businesses and we have enough beds to accommodate you if you end up here. That's what they're saying.
Yeah.
Also, the whole argument that businesses and capitalism are more important than lives and bodies is fueling a lot of things in the country
and
right
it's apparent.
now.
I mean, it's wildly apparent right now. Who cares about the people that...
So yeah, spiking, but also because what we've had to learn, especially in New York, is how to protect ourselves. Because in New York, it's still... It's a little more vigilant. Yeah. You know, like the sign, the Link NYC signs outside will be like, if you're not wearing a mask, get in the house right now. Right. Don't even walk down the street. Right. So it's like we're learning to protect ourselves, and so our public health is not only the responsibility of our officials. Public health is the responsibility of the people, and a lot of people are willing to relinquish that because of what policy says, and a lot of politicians are willing to relinquish that because they can be like, well, you could have worn a mask, right? But it's like if everyone could just be sensible and responsible, then that would help everybody.
Or at least if you want to speak like me, just be compassionate. I mean, at least let people stop dying first. I just can't. Oh yeah, and I'm going to use this section to also make a personal PSA. Your mask goes over your nose.
Those are two holes.
I literally, am taking walks for my personal mental health, and my walks are intense. I'm like an old white lady in a mall, in a shopping mall. Like, I am a speed walker. I walk 6 miles when I go walk, and in that mask, it is hard. It's hard to fucking breathe. Yeah. And, my language. It's hard to breathe, and I suffer through it. You suffer through it. You know what I mean? Like, look out for the people around you. Have some compassion. I'm sorry, it's uncomfortable. My face is also breaking out from a dirty mask because I've been sweating. I mean, it is what it is. At least let people stop.
Yeah. And I have asthma, but I'd rather struggle with breathing because I'm protecting my body. Yeah. Instead of, even if you contract COVID-19 and then recover, your body will never be the same. Yeah. I would rather just shorten my walks or condition myself to do it instead of actually have lung damage.
Yeah. Just put them over your nose.
Just put them on.
That's all.
Yeah, so we're going to move into a little, they can be lighter sometimes, but pop culture segments.
My favorite.
Pop culture. I don't have a joke for that. I thought I did when I started talking, but I didn't. My pop culture.
Keep that in.
My pop culture point is so funny because when I brought it up to you yesterday, I said, I'm going to talk about Noname and J. Cole. And Kayla said, what happened with my girl? Because this is a no-name household.
I love Noname.
We love
If you're not hip to Noname,
sorry to this man.
You're sleeping. Get in one of the rooms.
Yeah. And just the overarching point of this is reflected in Noname as a public figure, rapper name, because this is a woman who changed her stage name because it wasn't so sensitively crafted.
You mentioned this yesterday. What did she change her stage name from?
Well, she initially, it was 2 words. It was no name, and then I don't know if editing dropped the slur, because the slur isn't about if it offends you. Yeah. It's not about if it offends you as a speaker.
Just that it is inappropriate.
Yeah. And she dropped it, and it's no name.
Interesting.
Love that.
Yeah.
Especially because it's already
so
no name.
With that in mind,
No Name has been tweeting a lot more about like revolutionary thoughts and anti-capitalistic thoughts, and she crafted a book club a while ago. Noname book club a while ago. Mm-hmm. One of her tweets she then since deleted, so we can just like move through it because that's her choice to delete it. We don't have to talk about it. But people suspect that a lot of those tweets, and the one particular that was deleted, inspired a surprise track that we got from J. Cole. I'm going to be honest here and tell you, I don't listen to that man very often. Very talented, sure. Yeah. I mean, just like not in my library, for real. Cool.
I love J. Cole.
Yeah. But he caught a lot of heat, and I think appropriate heat, for creating the track he did, because he was like, you're saying all these things to an ambiguous you, or I read so-and-so's page, it's all ambiguous. Yeah. But it's the energy of it is just very tone policing. And the issue there doesn't have to be about the details. We don't have to talk about the details, because like I said, I don't know that man. Well, I'm going to talk about the details. But the tone thing, the comment on that, you can keep that, especially right now. You can keep that always. But you can definitely keep it right now. So how did his
tone read?
It wasn't his tone. Like, the speculation was that he was criticizing Noname's tone and delivery of the information and frustration she was sharing. And so then he retreated to Twitter that same day, maybe the next day, I'm not sure, and said, let me use this moment to say this. And that's where I said pause. And there were many tweets after that, and you can find them if you'd like, but that's where I'm going to direct our good friend J. Cole to a show we grew up with.
What?
Reading Rainbow.
Take a look.
Reading Rainbow. Because Tina, Fabrique, and then later Chaka encouraged us to take a look. It's in a book.
It's in a book.
They said, you can go anywhere. I can go anywhere. This man went to the studio. This man went to Twitter. But Chaka and Tina Fabrique said, it's in a book.
Take it.
And you know who has a list of books? Noname.
Yeah.
So you know what this didn't have to be? And you know what? As artists, I understand the conflict of emotions and the frustrations in a conversation or whatever, and wanting to put that into art. Mm-hmm. But also, there's a responsibility for people don't take the responsibility. It exists, but people don't take it. To claim how you're feeling and to sit with it and articulate it in a way so that your art is its most powerful and impactful and clear. And when it's unclear, we still get a lot from it as an audience, just learning about your perspective, and people get to see their perspectives reflected. But what Reading Rainbow has taught us, shout out to LeVar Burton as well, is you can always read a book. And she suggested so many books. So many.
He ain't taking to those books.
And that's all I'm going to say about that, because it wasn't really a back and forth. I don't think she was engaging like that. And honestly, I don't spend enough time on Twitter to know. But just if you have the option to read or to speak and you're confused about the two, the energy definitely should go into reading, because the confusion should lead you to more information and not about being unclear.
I'm also just tired of the trend of a diss track. I'm just like...
wasn't that? It was like passive, too, because even the tweets after were like, well, it was ambiguous, and these people think they know what you're... So if you're not going to say it with your chest, why'd you put it... Ooh, that was going to be loud. Oh! If you're not going to say it with your chest, why not go to the library instead of the studio? You know what I'm saying? Like, because say what you want to say and do your art how you want to do it, but if you are passionate about being clear and impactful... take your time to find clarity.
There's no business in having a loud voice that doesn't have purpose. No substance.
And so everyone in my life who is a J. Cole fan, it's multiple things can be true at one time. It can be true that this man is talented and has great rhythm and great lyricism and whatever, and that he did something goofy. Those things can be true at one time.
End of story.
So we're going to talk about being truthful.
End of story. Anyway, so moving on, in our community, because we are big ass theater people, we are having the inaugural Antonio Awards.
That's my friend Antonio.
For us tomorrow night, for y'all tonight. And what that is a Black Broadway and off-Broadway celebration that we could liken to another famous Broadway awards show if we wanted to. But this is FUBU. for us, by us, and it's beautiful. We're definitely going to be dressed with a drink from our couch, this couch.
Look out.
So we definitely want to shout out Broadway Black for hosting that. It was so exciting to watch them announce the nominations. I mean, it's a real thing, and they created this beautiful space for this little niche of people in our community.
And there's an after party. I think Iman's hosting it.
No way.
I'll be there.
We're gonna be in this living room.
In addition to, it's virtual, of course. In addition to the Antonio Awards, we also have the formation. Maybe that should have been my art association.
Okay, ladies.
That's my art association. Of Black Theater United and Black Women on Broadway. Yeah. So, Black Theater United, you have so many theater artists from so many different positions in the craft and practice and business that came together for this. I specifically want to speak to some that impacted my life personally.
Yeah, you have some faves involved in this.
All of them are faves, but the ones that made 10-year-old Alexia cry to see doing this, we're going to talk about Audra McDonald, because I asked my mom a week or two ago. I said, Mama, how many times did you have to watch the 1999 version of Annie? How many times? Because Audra's saying tomorrow. Tomorrow, she said. You're only a day away. And you know what? Working here for a better tomorrow, love to see it.
I know. We love the theme.
To see it. The one time I actually stage doored Audra, we were too poor to see Lady Day, so we went to see a Broadway show across the street, and then went to her stage door after. But it was 3 Black girls. It was me and 2 of my classmates from Howard in New York for the summer for a theater program, and I could not speak. I could not speak. Her birthday is in July, right? I know that because she shares a birthday with one of my very close friends, and so it had just passed. And I'm a big birthday person, so I was like, oh yeah, it's the same as so-and-so's birthday. I know that her birthday happened. I couldn't think of anything. I was like, maybe I have a speech plan. I don't know. It's she's gonna see these 3 young Black girls that clearly love theater and clearly love her, and it's just gonna be so. I couldn't think of anything. I saw her. I said, "Good birthday," and she was like, "Thank you."
You didn't want to embarrass yourself, but it encompasses, again, true stand-up so well. So well. Anyway.
Just what an artist. So we have Audra McDonald. We also, I want to name Lillias White, because Lillias White is also one of the reasons why I got one of my first jobs in New York. Yeah. I was working at a cabaret space in the city.
You're never going to
I was working cabaret space in the city, and Lillias White was a regular performer there. And I told my coworkers, I said, I hope that I can call her auntie, because that's who she is in my life, and it has been since the 90s. I love her. Yeah. And also, I had just come back from Dreamgirls in Korea, doing Dreamgirls, and I was like, we have to talk to her. And so I asked her if I could call her auntie, and she was like, of course. And then after her show, I sat with her and 2 others, and that conversation turned into a workshop that I then got to do after, just because I asked Lillias White if I could call her auntie. Also Allyson Tucker, who that gig that then happened, got to work with. It was just such a brilliant spirit, and took the time to speak to the younger artists, because it was all ages, but speak to the younger artists, especially the Black women, and say, I am here. It's something that she shared with us. Love her. And
something we all need to hear.
Need to hear, because you know it, but you don't know to practice it. Yeah. Sometimes without encouragement. And Vanessa Williams, because queen, actual queen.
Enough said.
Crowned queen.
Enough said.
Actually,
she's a queen.
Her career in the public eye started with
her as a queen.
Craziness. Her as a queen, and then craziness. And do you know what she did? Kept her foot on our necks for my entire life.
It never let out.
Queen. And her daughter is a queen as well. Yeah. We love Lion Babe.
Lion Babe.
Yeah. Fierce. Black Bachelor or no?
Oh, yeah. Okay. I don't know.
Oh, wait. For Black Women on Broadway, we have the co-founders, Jocelyn, Bioh, Danielle Brooks, and Amber Iman. I mentioned the movement. I did not mention the names.
This is what you said you're never going to get back to.
It's just
Lexi was
so excited. I love Black women. I love Broadway. It's just so much happening.
Yeah. I'm overwhelmed. Huge shout out to them. There's a lot being done for us there. Thank God. Yeah, and then, as a stan, I just want to shout out to The Bachelor for finally casting a black freaking male lead after 20 years, 18 years, but 20 years. I mean, I'm not going to congratulate the franchise because it took a lot of pressure to get them to do so, but I'm very excited to watch the season. I'm very excited it's happening. Yay, black people.
Yeah, so now we can take a little breath. As we said, we don't have ads yet, but we do have things to advertise. So I guess we do have ads. Yeah. You know?
Just share that.
Yeah. So Juneteenth, we have a lot of things happening today because when we release this, it will be Juneteenth, June 19th, a holiday celebrated every year to honor the day when enslaved people in Texas, some parts of Texas, learned that they had been freed by the Emancipation Proclamation 2 years later. I do want to point out that those weren't the last freed people in the country.
The work is never
done. And also freedom.
The work is never done.
Freedom is open to interpretation, but the physical bondage and ownership bondage of these enslaved folk in Texas, they learned on June 19th. I want to say 1865. Emancipation Proclamation.
It's on your shirt.
I got it right.
1865.
Wine can't get in the way of these numbers.
Yeah. So.
So Juneteenth. There are a lot of things happening. Like we said, the Antonio Awards. We have You Good Sis coming out. One of my very, very close friends, Angelica Carter, has started a company called Teensy Tees. And she has created a multitude of onesies and t-shirts and even the birthing my child is now 4 months old blankets for teensy little black people.
Yeah, they're super cute.
They're so cute. And she's launching everything on Juneteenth. Different slogans, different art, different everything. She has from newborn sizes up to, I believe, 3T, maybe 4T.
Yeah. And it's a perfect time to buy black owned.
Yeah,
big shout out to Teensy Tees.
Teensy Tees. Her story is that she went shopping with her grandmother once and saw a t-shirt that said something that spoke to her and also had an image of a black woman on it. And she was like, oh my God, it's me in words and image.
Yeah.
I have to buy it.
Yeah.
And she remembers that moment so clearly that she wanted to create that moment for the teensy people so that they always knew that we will affirm them.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love it so much.
Buy Teensy Tees. Look it up. TEENSY TEES. Yeah. Great. It's still recording. Good job.
Hey, bitch.
Okay. So we might have to... Oh. Okay. Burgundy's here. Okay, let's add Berg and see how this works. Boom, boom, boom. If we can see her. The cloud. There we go. Is it recording? Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah.
I'm pleased. The name of the segment is Who All Gonna Be There?
That's an important question. That's gonna determine if I'm going or not.
Because when you ask who you gonna be there, it's more of like a vibe question than which actual names are gonna be there.
Right.
Yeah,
I was like, I gotta know who's gonna be there so I can center myself the correct way.
Right.
Like this, the person who's a guest that week or whatever, it's like, what exactly are they bringing to the room?
Yeah.
When we talk to them,
Right.
When we talk to them or when they're doing their job, who all gonna be there? Because the person and the brand and the art, they could be three separate things.
True.
So we try to level it out a little
and
bit.
you don't know if you want to get into that, so let me know who's gonna be there.
Yeah. So who all gonna be there? We have Burgundy Baker here, actor, dancer, singer.
We're so excited.
Booked. Burgundy, where are you right now?
I'm in North Carolina, visiting my family. Just relax and really enjoy the premiere and be around loved ones, because it's sort of I don't know. It's it's not scary. It's exciting, but I also feel like I'm holding my breath. And I actually didn't want to come here. I actually wanted to just sit in my living room, watch it by myself, and really study it. Not watch it for entertainment, but study and see, did I do everything I was trying to do? Am I happy with, how they made me look? But then I realized I think I worked too hard for all those months to just let it come out and just study it. I can go back and watch it. How many ever times I want to watch it? I have it already and I haven't watched it because I can always go back and study, but I think I deserve to enjoy it for the first time, you know?
Definitely. That's honestly why I've stayed away from TV so hard, is because it's out there, it's existing, it's lasting, and I would do the same. I would want to watch it alone, figure out how I look, critique things on my own. I mean, that must be a crazy pressure. So I congratulate you for being able to release that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're staying home for both premieres? Because you have 2 coming up this weekend.
Yeah. First is Circuit, and that's on the 19th. And then on the 21st is The Shy.
Wow. God. This season 3.
Yes.
Wow.
Season 3. I'm like, how do you get on a show? You're on season 1. You're on season 2. And then season 3, you start getting taken seriously. No shade to nobody because I'm thankful. But I'm like, 3 seasons?
Well, you know, we've been taking you seriously. You know, my mom has been taking you seriously.
I love your mom. I love your mom. Thank you to your mom.
Did you see what Burgundy did? I'm like, first of all, that's Keisha.
Right. Neither my brother. I mean, both my brothers, honestly, because I have a small 11-year-old brother, and he thinks one of the characters in The Shy is him. So he's like, to the damn show. My other brother is 22, loves it so much. I mean, they praise it all the time. So, I mean, at least you're finally, getting your recognition.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. And sticking with it. I mean, like you said, it takes a lot of different pieces. It takes a lot of points of attack to even finish the project and finish filming it. You've done that for over 2 years at this point. Well, 3 for all the filming years. The actor who plays your little brother, what's his name?
His real name is Alex.
Mm-hmm. How dare I forget that? We have the same name. But I remember when we were still in DC. I don't know, you might have been in Chicago at that point, but I was definitely still in DC. But we went to East Street Theater to see Moonlight, and it was me and Nate, I think maybe BB, but definitely me and Nate. And I saw Alex on the screen. We watched the whole movie or whatever. We left the theater, and I turned to Nate. I said, "That's Burgundy's little cousin."
See.
Oh,
even when Moonlight came out, you remember Angel?
Yes.
She messaged me and she was like, "This little boy looks just like you. You're gonna work with him."
Yeah.
And I've been scared of Angel since then. I've been scared of her. She'll text me like, "I had a dream about you." I'll be like, don't tell me because it's gonna come true.
I told Nate, I said, now Burgundy, I mean, no, you could be a mom at many ages, but I was like, no one will believe them as mother-child on screen, but that's how much they look alike. It doesn't look like anyone else's DNA would get in the way of their sibling. That's crazy. Like a year or 2 later, you all are filming The Shy. Insane. I mean, we love when casting sees what the people see. We love that.
Yeah, it really makes me feel like everything just works for you, you know, like even things that people may make you feel like it's not working for you, like me being so dark or me not being the standard, you know, beauty. But Alex was already cast. Alex was already popular. His spot, nobody was taking his spot. It was what it was. And then they needed a dark-skinned girl that looked like him to play his sister. And I feel like, you know, this isn't where I'm going to end up. I think The Shy is just the beginning, but my design, how God made me, you know what I mean, is a big part of me making it to season 3 and me making it to where my storyline is. And it's just, I just feel like everything, I mean, you know how it is being a woman and having to, sorry, I got a phone call. Sorry, that was a phone call. You know how it is being a woman and having to accept, you know, your body shape or your complexion or whatever. And it just, this was one of those things that was just like, wow, everything that God put on me and put in me worked in my favor for this. Even me looking like that little boy, you know, like, so
And that it was on your radar beforehand is just, I mean, nothing speaks more to any kind of higher power than people being like, you're going to work with this kid, and then you wrap up real quick and work with this kid. I mean, there's no better testament.
Yeah. But then it's like you said, your design put you in a space to be aligned with that opportunity, but then you also have the discipline and talent and work ethic to ride that opportunity, you know, and to like make it move into 3 seasons and a series regular now.
And just the beginning of a career. I mean,
just the beginning, but the beginning also has Station 19, the beginning has Heathers, the beginning has Black Lightning,
I mean,
the
Mama has credits.
For sure. With the premieres this weekend, what are you most about? Is that how sentences work? With each project, like what about Circuit premiering tomorrow on Juneteenth are you really excited about? What about season 3 of The Shy are you really excited about?
I would say this for both things. The topics that we're gonna touch in Circuit and in The Shy are real life things that are happening today, have been happening for a long time, that a lot of people aren't aware of, and I'm just happy to get that information out. Like with Circuit, a lot of the details in the film are true. It's stories that we've heard in interviews from women who've really been through these things. And then with The Shy, even though it's not a true story, it's written, but the issues are very real. And I'm just excited for people who've experienced these issues before to see their story being told, and people who don't know that this is happening in the world to happen. And both of the film and the series is based around women. And it's so many things happening to women right now. And I think I speak for us all when I say we feel like we're not heard, we feel ignored. It's just a lot going on, and I feel like women deserve better, and both of these projects are gonna push that a little bit.
And like you said, a level of awareness being brought to a lot of topics through the art, like through the show and the film. Sometimes it's not even an awareness thing. Like you said, a lot of times women, we won't feel seen and heard, but we're there. It's not because we're not talking. It's not because we're not present.
It's like are loud.
It's the choice on the other side to not see and listen. So I feel like there are even a lot of people who will be a lot of people who are aware of the issues that you all talk about in these projects, but will listen more intently because, now it's connected to a project they care about or a character they care about.
Or coming from a mouth that they're like wanting to hear from.
Yeah.
That stuff is just going to translate so well.
Yeah, or a character they see on screen and be like, "Ooh, that looks like my friend."
Yeah. And then they actually apply it to their personal lives. I mean, that's incredible. I mean, I don't know. We haven't seen we haven't seen The Circuit. We haven't seen the new season, but I'm very excited to see these messages you're talking about.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Are you, what was the strangest shift for you? I know you said like you were expecting to watch the premieres at home and chill, but now you, being in different cities, seeing how different cities are reacting to the state of the world right now. What's been the biggest shift for you in reacting to the state of the world right now? Like, has anything really changed about your behavior or routine?
Changed my behavior. I don't know. I can't say. The beginning of this whole thing was very, very hard. It was very hard because I feel like, honestly, it was one time I watched anything about a Black man or a Black child dying, and that was at Howard when Trayvon Martin died. And that was a very hard day for me. I was in bed all day. I could not stop watching it on TV. As painful as it was, I could not stop watching it. And even though this kept happening, I kind of stopped seeing it. I wasn't heavy on social media, Facebook, all that stuff. Wasn't watching the news. I don't know. I know it was happening, but I kind of just like stopped seeing it. And now being an adult, being a mother, being a girlfriend, being a grown woman, it feels like it came back so hard, and it came back so much. And now every day I'm seeing someone Black die.
Yeah.
And it was it has been very, very, very hard. And I knew that there were certain people who expected me to say things or to post things on social media regarding what was going on. But for a few days, I just didn't, because I wasn't ready. I feel like my emotions were misplaced. I didn't know. I had friends who were posting like real knowledge about what's going on, like powerful things. I had friends posting information of where you could do this and where you could find this and where you could protest. And I didn't have information. All I had was my anger and my sadness. And I didn't feel like that was helping anybody in any way. So I didn't post. I just sat back and just tried to digest it all. But then after a couple of days, I realized like, that's not doing anything other than this is going to be helpful. Yeah. So I did go to protests out in LA. I was very sad to see almost no Black faces. I went to a couple protests and it was mainly white people, which, I mean, we're asking them to do more. We're asking them to be present. So thank you for that. But I just wanted to know where my people was at, you know? Yeah. And signing petitions and donating, those have been ongoing things that I've been trying to do, but it is hard being an adult and seeing this.
Yeah. I think it's important to acknowledge the space that you took, though, because I mean, I know Lexi's definitely been fighting since day one, but my response was confusion, fear, sadness, anger. I could not for the life of me understand why this was so outrageous to people at this point, because I'd seen it so much and just kind of became numb to it. So I really did, same as you, have to take that time for myself and be like, what does this mean for me? Because I currently don't have it in me to fight the fight like everyone else was. And in that instance, we do expect our white allies to step up for us and take over where we cannot. Yeah. So it's good that you eventually got to a place where you could be energized in the fight and be present in the fight, but taking those first moments was necessary.
Yeah, because you wouldn't have been energized or present if you hadn't taken that moment. You know what I'm saying? Like, you wouldn't have had the sense of responsibility even you felt over your emotions to use them in a helpful way if you hadn't taken that space. I think one thing you said that has really stuck with me in this time, and I mentioned it to Kayla a couple of weeks ago, I was like, with Trayvon Martin being killed our freshman, sophomore-ish, like at the top of our Howard experience, and even with state violence and like a misuse of justice, was Troy Davis being executed at the top of our Howard experience. And then by the time we were graduating, and those were the Ferguson protests, I told Kayla, I said, my entire adulthood is this hashtag. I don't know an adulthood outside of Black Lives Matter. It was youth. And still knowing history and tragedy in the Black community and injustice, still knowing that, but like the Black Lives Matter movement as a hashtag, like as a mantra, that is my entire adulthood. And so I've had to give myself the grace to rest, because I'm like, you're not resting because you don't care or because you're not angry or because you don't have anything to say. You're resting because you're back hurts a little bit, even though you're only 20-something, because you've been marching for 10 years. Like, you spent your entire adulthood marching up and down 16th Street in DC and like in front of the White House, and it's not. And we had film together senior year, and I remember one moment where the professor told us that he had told one of his really close friends that his responsibility as a protester and artist a lot of the time was going to be his work. Like, it wasn't going to be being on the ground, because you're on the ground. People who are trained for this, who are willing to do this, who have the energy and the physical ability to do this. Something happens to you that these people can withstand that you can't quite withstand in the same way because you're an artist. Now, it was Ryan Coogler that he was speaking to when they called it. He was working on Creed. He said, we don't get Creed. And it's like, is Creed really, where does your importance lie with your voice? And as long as you can be truthful about that and present in that, then that's where you need to be, whatever the decision is. But like you said, like Kayla said, being energized and present, that's the priority. Because also, if you spoke sooner than you were ready and what you said was unclear, that's a part of the responsibility also of being an artist in a space. It's like, now you may have confused other people that you could have encouraged or informed if you had taken the time you needed to center yourself in all of it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the reason why you haven't seen a lot of Black people, because Black people, we tired.
Or even scared.
I saw the actor Adrienne Warren. She posted something recently from an interview she did. Love her. And she said, I'm not as tired as my parents. I'm not as tired as my grandparents. And for that reason, I will find my own way too. Those aren't exactly, but she like compared the generational exhaustion. Yeah. And she said, well, we're in a position where we can navigate the exhaustion differently. And it's not going to be any more or less powerful. It's not going to be any more or less potent or important. It's just more centered to who we are and what our voices are personally.
Yeah.
It's a crazy time.
Yeah.
That world.
Yeah. Are you, I mean, everyone's resting. Nothing's really happening film-wise right now. But is there anything you're looking forward to leaving behind when this pandemic revolution is over? If it's over.
That's a good question.
I borrowed that from.
Is there anything I'm looking forward to leaving behind? I don't think so. I mean, no, I don't. I might have to think on that one.
Yeah, like I'm like, there's some things from when this started that I was cut away from that now I'm like, oh, y'all can keep that. I don't need to go back to that.
There are things too that I've already dropped naturally. You know what I mean? Just we had to slow down a lot. That I'm like, oh, I've already changed some of my, some of the things that before this were stressing me out, were driving me fucking insane. I changed a lot of those things already. So, but I do have a couple that still jump out. I could do a little more work there.
I mean, yeah. It's an interesting question because a lot of options have been snatched away, but that is a very powerful option that we have right now.
Well then, I'm gonna move it to a silly question. Are you getting dressed up for your premieres? Do you are you planning on wearing?
No, my boyfriend, because I was in California and I was like, when I'm packing, he was like, oh, bring something cute. I was like, just to be at home watching the premiere, no, I'm not. Like, but if this had been like, if Corona wasn't out and we had a real premiere, it would be a whole thing. But no, I'm not dressing up. I'm not. If I don't have to dress up, I won't.
Right.
I feel
that's
you.
A fact.
I couldn't even put on makeup for this, so I can't blame you.
That's a fact. Because if Burgundy's going to be one thing, it's unbothered. That I know for sure.
I've been working on that.
Good. I mean, kind of, I guess. Burgundy, a great deal of our friendship is just me getting on her nerves.
That's how we started, too.
I just lean into it, enjoy it.
It's fun.
Practice my best jokes, my best roasts,
It's a great dynamic. It really is.
I was thinking today about one of my really close friends growing up. She's a new mommy. And her daughter and I'm like, that's my best friend, you're fired. Your daughter's my new best friend. Y'all can co-share the responsibility of it. She definitely got it. And I was thinking about talking to you, and we can edit this if you don't want to talk about Blaze on the screen.
No, we can. I'm fine.
But with Blaze and just your experience is so specifically in your experience, but also like the entry of Blaze was like a moment for the class. It was 8 Black women and one of them was pregnant, so we were like going ham at all times. And I remember I used to talk to Blaze in utero. Yes. And Blaze didn't talk to anybody else, but she'd talk to me. Like I would talk to kids and she'd put her hand up in Burgundy's stomach, and I was like, that's my girl.
Little finger against lining.
And as soon as we graduated, Burgundy was like off to Chicago, working in Chicago and then LA. But when I check on Blaze, I'm like, that's my girl. We have history.
I'm not even gonna come between that. I'm not even gonna, that you have that. Y'all do.
There's no room.
Y'all do.
So how old is your baby? How's she doing?
5. She's 5.
Wow.
She's good. I mean, I know it's hard to explain because she's only 5, but she really does her own thing. I mean, I kind of just, there's no really way to parent her. I kind of just take it day by day, moment by moment.
Let her tell you.
Yeah, I just go with the flow of it, because if I don't, I wouldn't be able to get through the day. She has a mind of her own. She knows exactly like what she wants to do and how she wants to do it, and she's a person, you know what I mean? And I just let her be that person.
That's amazing.
And like I told you, she is a whole person. She's also a director. She is a choreographer. She's a dancer. She is a model. She's a makeup artist.
She's a person with many careers.
She's an influencer.
Oh my God.
She's a fourth.
I haven't seen a check come in.
She said, "You got it." I'm here for the kids. Yeah, I think
that's everything.
Yeah, I think we mostly asked most things. I mean,
thank you so much for helping us out.
No, thank you for having me. This is really, really cool. It's really cool.
Thanks, girl.
It's gonna be fun. Right now, it's fun, but right now it's a lot of groundwork. It
is fun, but right now it's just really scary. Like, we have a lot of people that are interested, and this for us feels like it happens so quick that it's just kind of like, okay, we'll try our, like we have this whole professional look, so we're like, now we got to bring professional quality.
We're talking into these mics. We don't know if they're on right now. We don't know if they're working with Zoom. They were working before, but right now they're props.
They look good.
They look really good. I'm glad it's happening quickly for y'all. I think that keeps like the mojo going. It keeps you motivated, and it's a good time because people are on their phones all day.
Yeah.
It's not really much to do. So it's a good, and then with everything going on, so the time is perfect.
We hope so. That's what our horoscopes say. Honestly.
And I get my horoscopes from a Black woman, so I trust her. She specifically used the word podcast when we were about to do our first episode, and I was like,
yeah. Weird shit.
Terrifying.
Weird shit.
But yeah. Congratulations on your premieres.
Thank you.
Where is everything going to be available? Where can we watch you in the circuit? Where can we watch you on the Shy?
Okay, so circuit will be on Stream Share and YouTube tomorrow at 6 p.m. And the Shy will be on Showtime Sunday at 9 p.m.
Fantastic.
Excited. And where can everybody follow you?
I was just going to say, so everyone can watch the circuit right after they listen to this.
Yes.
Releases at the perfect time.
Yeah.
And they can follow you where? I mean, you say you didn't do social media like that for real for a while. You're still pretty chill, but you're present. Gorgeous pictures.
And the Instagram is
gorgeous.
Cute.
Thank you. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, but where can everybody follow you?
On Instagram, my name Burgundy Baker, BIRGUNDI.
Love it.
So
love that.
Right.
Thanks for joining us. We'll have to talk to you soon. Like, less work, more play. Though this is
man.
Look, this is a lot of play.
Hopefully one day when we're all not busy, we can just get together live and have a talk.
Yeah.
That'd be so fun. And this was fun. So thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Much success on the whole podcast, every episode.
Thanks, girl.
Thanks,
yeah, truly.
We'll talk to you soon. I love you.
Love you too.
Nice to meet you. Bye.
Nice to meet you. Bye-bye.
You may be thinking, damn, she snatched. And you're right.
I'm black.
And you're right.
And you're right. Yeah. I see you.
I see you in the self-care unit.
Or when you go to see a show that your friend invited you to because they're in it,
hey.
And you finally get to be loud at curtain call,
hey.
and then get to the apron, you say, "I see you, I see you." This is our Black excellence segment.
Or you use it in place of when someone's like, how was my performance? And you're like, I see you. You doing your thing. I see you. But in this case, we're celebrating. So we actually, I guess I'm reading this article from Deadline.com specifically, but there is a 13-year-old social media and hip-hop star, Alea High. Her nickname is that girl Lele, who was just signed by Nickelodeon. And this girl is it says the network strategy for Lele includes developing content for all Nickelodeon platforms. Honey, that's Team Nick. That's what all Nickelodeon platforms, supporting her music career and exclusive line of consumer products with merchandising. So I guess their goal here is to be like, to have her like a Black JoJo Siwa.
She's gonna be the regular Simone Nickelodeon. She
is Miss Simone. Congratulations on your marriage.
Congratulations,
Miss Simone. Anyway.
Speaking of stand-up.
This is Tiny New Raven Simone. They're really taking this. This girl, you all have to look her up, is the most stunning little beautiful thing. But they're taking her and they're using her for their brand, which we have to celebrate. We have to love.
Yeah, we love that.
Gorgeous talent.
We are not therapists. We are not therapists. We will talk about wellness and mental health. Absolutely. We are not therapists.
We are not granted, an educational certification for therapy necessarily, but we're two girls who've had a lot of experience with therapists.
Yes.
And a lot of experience, period.
And we do have BFAs in musical theater.
Listen.
We're qualified to sing and dance and act.
Yeah.
So this is where, if you email yougoodsisspod@gmail.com with your letters, questions, dramas, concerns, confusions, we will read them dramatically, not melodramatically, but just breathe life into them as if they were a little script and respond accordingly. Because when you breathe life into what you're reading, you hear different things fall a different way. Where you see where the drama is, where the comedy is, because there's always both.
Yeah, we just think there's a benefit in having your letters read back to you, and then we'll respond, as best we can.
Yeah. For now, we don't have any letters. It's our first episode still. Welcome. Thank you for staying with us. Thank you. Just a fun question for us to consider. Something that we would want to tell our pre-pandemic, pre-Civil Revolution selves. Like if I spoke to Alexia on March 13th before she was sent home.
Yeah.
And was like, actually, this job does not exist. What would I tell her except take a nap?
Yeah. For me, it would be that our quote-unquote the hustle does not validate success. Just because you are busy and stomping the ground and working extra hard does not mean that you are happy. So really what this has been for me is a test in literally what makes me happy. And I think I'd given up some things pre-COVID. Because I felt maybe that they were too removed from my career goal, and so I'd given some things up, sacrificed some things that I like to do in my personal time, i.e. collaging and coloring and doing Sudoku books. all these very random things that feed my soul, that bring me peace. I had forego just to live this hustle, and the hustle is now gone. So bringing those things back into my life is necessary and has been beneficial and is also permanent. It's a permanent change that I'm going to keep because it brings me true peace. Yeah. True peace. In these times where I'm not getting the in your face validation of you're doing a great job. I had to personally figure out what that meant for me, how to give myself you're doing a great job.
Yeah. I very similarly had to realize at the top of pandemic, before moving into Civil Revolution, that I was working a muggle job at the time. Muggle job, the regular ass job you work when you're not on stage or screen or something.
Yeah, that's not a normal term.
Yeah, it's not.
It is for us.
I was working a muggle job. And I realized I had stopped auditioning for a while. It had been about 6 months, and I did it intentionally. I had still pursued certain artistic things, but as far as like ECCs, like equity chorus calls and EPAs and stuff, if it wasn't an appointment, I wasn't going. And that wasn't because I wanted to be there, but I wanted to be more clear about why I was there.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to be more clear in my crafts. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to show up to a call and I haven't been doing vocal warm-ups properly for 10 years. You know, like, even though I had the wherewithal and the tools, I just wasn't. You know, I didn't want to not go to dance class forever and then try to show up to a call. I'm not bringing my best self to this room. And if I'm hired for something, I want it to be aligned with my best work. So I took a step back to gauge all that. And also because I was seeing an industry that I did not want to participate in so deeply, which I'm so grateful for things like Black Theater United and Broadway,
now that's
because it's about it's commanding an industry that wasn't showing me what I would. Because also I was telling Kayla, I grew up in very Black spaces. I grew up in the DMV area. I went to Howard University. I didn't have to adjust to the white gaze or think about it really for a lot of my life. Mm-hmm. And so moving to New York, I came here.
G-A-Z-E.
But white gays have white gays.
I've been adjusting to the white gays, G-A-Y-S, my entire life.
They also participate in the white gays.
Listen.
But I was telling Kayla, like, I went straight from performing professionally in the DC area my whole life, and going to school at a university I was kind of groomed to go to. Yeah. Like, my first dance studio was owned by a Black woman. My first professional shows were run by Howard women. Wow. I was supposed to say Howard women, but Howard women taught me everything my whole life. Didn't notice it until the pandemic, and I'm reflecting on why is the way I engage with my art so radically specific. Yeah. And it's because of that. And so when I was in New York, and when you're in New York and you use your theater friends to get free tickets, I was seeing a bunch of shows. And I was seeing a bunch of shows I didn't want to be in. And some of it was insecurity. Like, I don't know if I can work hard enough to be in it. But some of it was like, I actually think that after 2 months of this, I will probably be pissed.
It's not fulfilling to you.
It's, you know? Yeah. So I'm so grateful to see these things, because I realized that even if I had the job I thought I wanted, I would be without a job right now. So where I am personally is way more important than what I'm doing for other people.
Yeah.
Because
but you've been on this path for a long time.
Yeah, like I said.
Like pre-COVID, like you were already obviously having this discovery, and seeing you now get the time where everyone else has had to stop, and you're like, oh, y'all kind of.
I'm like, but now I'm ready. So what do I just start a podcast? Like, that's how that happens. That, and also encouraging myself, like you said, but in a mental health frame. Yeah. Like, I had to affirm that I know how to take care of myself. Because mental health struggles really shaped my young adulthood. I'm still a young adult, but really shaped my college experience. And so the way I learned theater as a professional theater artist came with a lot of struggle and trauma as far as mental health. And so I had to learn, or say to myself, Alexia, like, you did that. You experienced that. You've been through you know how to take care of yourself. And when you don't know how, you know how to ask and investigate and figure it out. Like, you know how to move through it. So I'm sitting here thinking the world shut down and I'm going to, like, break down and, like, have all these different kinds of outbursts or whatever. And I'm like, no, like, you know when to say enough. Like, you have those tools, so you just have to hold yourself accountable for that. And that took a lot of pressure off of me. Wow. And that's what I would say to myself.
And I'm jealous of that. I did not have the tools. I mean, as soon as the world shut down, you watched it happen. You watched me over the course of 3-4 days, just like take a nosedive. Because I had been living that straight up hustle. And granted, it was not like I was pushing for a long time. I mean, honestly, it was my first time probably ever in my career having to do the quote-quote hustle. But I was pushing for it for so long, and then as soon as everything stopped, I just lost who I was. I had no idea. So I had to go back home, figure that out, blah, blah, blah. I'm very proud of you for having Lexi was in our apartment alone, secluded, 2 months, thriving.
I love having Kayla, but I do want to let you know that's my best life. Because we do very well with being in our own spaces, which works in our apartment because we don't share walls. So, like, we know how to be in our own spaces. So we would have had that regardless. But best life.
like, Lex, how you doing? Chilling. Did some yoga. Went on a walk. Made a list. Accomplished the list. I love it. I love it.
Also, yeah, big pseudo only child energy. Half only child, half baby sister.
Hell
like,
yeah.
I really know how to do my own thing.
Hell yeah.
Really know. But yeah, I'm proud of us. We are not therapists, but we are young Black women and artists who are figuring it the fuck out.
And I mean, honestly, well, like, if we can pat ourselves on the back, like, we are two healthy, growing-ass bitches. I mean, honestly. Honestly,
yes.
I mean,
it's not pretty.
It's not pretty, but I mean, at least for us to feel like we can stand our ground enough to be here in this space, on this medium, I mean...
And also the perspective, like I said at the very beginning, to say, I am not okay. This is not okay.
Exactly.
That outside is not okay. Like, to say that and just be honest about it.
And that's what this is for.
Yeah,
it really
that's
is.
what this is
That
for.
space. So if you, I don't know.
Yeah, if you want to write us a letter, like, we would love to engage with what you're thinking and
or
feeling.
even if it's just comments on, like, what we're talking about this week. If you have an idea, if you have any, like, second opinions or whatever, just please send them to us, yougoodsisPod@gmail.com, and the Gmail's connected to both of our phones, Henny, so we'll get it.
If you have anything rude to say, keep it to yourself. Life gives you enough negatives.
And if you have anything positive to say, give us a 5-star review and write a comment.
We're playing the positives here, okay? You know, positives also include constructive criticism, so we'll take those.
We'll take that. I'll always take that.
Yeah, so now we have the, super, I have to, like, rein myself in, but also let myself out.
Yeah, you gotta let it go.
For the full out, no marking.
No.
Full out, no marking. What do we do?
I want you to go first. Yeah.
Full out, no marking. We just go all the way in on whatever. Like, enraging, happy, random, our favorite things.
This is just where we're gonna
crazy things.
Ball out. I mean, like, it is, what is it called in All Skate? Anything goes.
All
Skate.
Come on, ladies, baby. Are you sure you want me to go first?
Yeah, I do want you to go first. Wait, why? Wait, never mind.
Because I'm really excited.
Oh, okay. Let me do mine, because honestly, my full out no marking is honestly another PSA. I love to give these. As we put on our Instagram, as I put on our Instagram, the retrograde started on the 17th. So I just want to tell you all, first and foremost, as always, double check your contracts, speak slowly, thoughtfully, listen to your friends with empathy. But I just want to say, please, if you aren't mindful of it already, start speaking out of love and more consideration for the humans that surround you. I mean, really, like...
And yourself.
Well, I'm getting there. But she's right. I mean, Lexi knows. And on a personal level, just try to start reading how you feel and responding to that selfishly. Like, if you need to take space, if you need to seek out other people, whatever it is, whatever extreme, listen to it and follow through on it, because you're just going to be way more happier, comforted, healthier. I know to some people the Mercury retrograde specifically can sound like madness, but really it's just practice in being more mindful, so take care of yourselves. That's my fair warning.
Sometimes it's madness, sometimes it sounds like a joke, sometimes it's, I have Beyonce here in Lemonade, Mercury's in Lemonade.
Sometimes you want to take a bat to a car.
I mean, and it's warranted. But you know what's also real? The moon and the stars. Mm-hmm. They're real.
That's what I believe in, so.
Yeah. My full out no marking. Kayla knows. She sees my phone. Yes, you played the best part. I'm so excited. Okay, you guys. My full out no marking. So one of my biggest things in quarantine is, like, instead of being to be specific about the things that make me unhappy and unsure or stressed, also be specific about the things that bring me joy, because life will give you the negatives. You don't have to give yourself the negatives. You have to play the positives. Life will give you the negatives. They're in the script. They're in the script.
They're part of life.
Play the positives. So I've always been, I've been using the word radical a lot, but it's really resounding with me lately. I've been really radical about the content I'm taking in. And I've been like that my whole life, I've realized. But I've always been radical about the content I take in. But that's because that's what my space allowed me to do, and then that's what I learned.
Definitely.
So now as an adult, I do it on purpose. And there's a video that brings me joy.
And I'm just watching it on repeat in this.
It's so good. Okay. It's also kind of an ICU, but it's full out no marking because I just have to speak to. At this point, I think she's 22 months. She was 21 months at the time. But little Shia Wilson, out of California, her big brother is the baby boy drummer, Justin Wilson II, LJ, his nickname.
Okay.
And so you've seen him. If you don't think you've seen him, I'm telling you, you've seen him, and you look him up right now because you've seen him on all of the things.
I don't know. I just
baby boy drummer. It's this little.
I just grabbed Lexi's hand.
I think he's 6 now.
I don't
5, 6, but he's been drumming. Like his they have a musical family. Like his dad is a musician and producer. His mom, I don't think works in music, but like sings and plays an instrument. Their aunt is Sheléa. That'll be a full out no marking for another day.
Another time. Honestly, you could do a whole bonus episode.
I could do a whole bonus episode on. No, because also Sheléa has been a huge part of my quarantine journey.
Definitely.
She has.
Yeah,
like her presence as an artist is something I was aware of and involved with before this, but having the time to delve in really, really informed how I spoke to myself right now.
Companion.
She's been my... I want you to understand this. I'm very serious about the best friends I make in my head. Not delusional, but serious. Sheléa is my best friend in my head. That's the period.
But in 2017, it was me. I mean,
I'm serious because I'm very observant. I have a lot of feelings and a lot of words, but I only share them when I'm comfortable. So like the people I'm close to are like you all right now with the podcast and wine. You'll hear that I talk a lot, but you know that because I'm comfortable in this space.
Yeah.
So when I watch people, I will check things like mark or whatever. Okay, and when I decide, we can be friends, it's because I've considered where I am and what I've seen, and I'm like, we can do this.
And when I say to you, one day out of the blue, Lexi just started calling me twin.
And what's crazy is I thought she started it because I had seen something so resolutely so.
She was just like,
it's true.
I mean, and it was just like stuck. She's like, that's my twin, hey twin. So, that's how we became friends.
Yeah, so I was saying that. We got off-rooted.
Way off.
Because I'm saying that this is a musical family. It's so funny because when her aunt, Sheléa, posted this video, one of her fans, one of Shalea's fans, put in the comments, what version of the Bible is your family reading? Because this baby is 22 months. She's not even 2 years old. And so I have to tell you what she's doing. That's the point.
Yeah.
Precious Shia, she starts the video, drumsticks in her hand, headphones on, at the drum kit, right? And her dad's like, what do you want to play? What do you want to play next? Do you want to play Auntie? And she's like, yeah. And she's like, what song? Now, I don't cry often. This video makes me cry often because she says, Pretty World, with a W in pretty. Pretty World is a song recorded by Sheléa and features Stevie Wonder on the harmonica, going back to...
Yeah.
If you say this is the one, Stevie says this is the one, I'm listening to everything.
And then Sheléa said this is the one.
Sheléa said this is the one, and I said word. Okay?
I'll show up.
Baby Shia, she has her drumstick, she has her earphones, she has her drum kit. When I tell you this baby counts herself in, she says she mouths 1, 2, 3, and 4. On the rhythm, beating. Kayla and I studied music theory, have BFAs in musical theater.
Oh, but I gotta say music theory. So.
Okay, no, I was...
Shout out Charlie West.
Have been tap dancing for over 20 years. When I tell you that this little girl still has more rhythm than us,
listen,
getting it. She's getting it. She's feeling it.
And
is
also,
it her little neck? She feeling it
her
right
better
here.
skincare routine.
These curls.
We love it.
I don't know this baby child. I don't know her, but like the love, I don't even know if she's gonna grow up and play the drums. Like nobody knows that, but I just love this moment that was caught on camera. It's so good. The song is beautiful. She loves it so much. She loves her auntie so much. She loves playing it in this moment so much. Her big brother at the end, the one who is baby boy drummer. Follow him on Instagram. That's the handle, baby boy drummer. At the end, he goes something along the lines of good job or whatever. But I'm just like, everyone is just so hyped that she's doing this. I posted it on my Instagram story frequently because, like I said, she said Pretty World. I cried.
Of course.
I cried. I watched this video, cried. It's just because this video, to me, in this time especially, is I put this on my Instagram story. I said, I know I post this like every week or two, but it's because this video is a reminder of how divine and pure Black girl joy is, and how easy it should be. It's just so easy for this little girl right now, and it's just. Oh, I remember one day I watched it was when little Toyin, was taken from us, and I was like, I need something, and I watched this video, and I'm like,
more videos of prophetic Black babies, please.
Because I don't know what this little girl's gonna do growing up, but I know whatever she does.
Or not prophetic, I guess prodigal Black babies.
Prodigal. I posted it, and one of my we're not moms, but we are friends with many moms. One of my friends who is a mom messaged me when I shared this on my story again and what I said about it. I was like, find me a more precious video on the internet. You won't. You won't. And she said, I'm going to bookmark this. She's raising a baby girl who's, I don't even think one yet. Okay. And it's just a reminder. Like I said,
even like you were saying, but even like you were saying, seeing yourself in, like with TCTs, shout out TCTs, seeing yourself in this person, you know what I mean? Like if you show that to another baby, they'll go, wait.
I'm thinking of like your mom calling you Little Magic your whole life, or like me dancing in the mall and someone seeing that at age 2 and being like, put her in a class. Like I'm like, I don't know what kind of light this little girl is going to use and what she's going to do with it, but it's right here on my phone screen, and I watch it right. Listen, Baby Shy, I don't know you, honey. I don't. I love you so much.
But show us the GoFundMe. I mean, the baby is beautiful.
Yeah, that's my full out no marking, because I will not mark Black Girl Joy.
Thanks, girl. I love that.
Yeah,
love that.
I think we did all of the things.
Is that everything? Oh my god. Okay, well, I guess that wraps up our first episode of You Can Say It! Small dog tongue whistle, little twerk for the club. Please, if you liked our episode, please go rate us, review us. We are on most podcasting networks and platforms, I believe.
Yeah, we have Spotify, Apple, SoundCloud.
Everything. Thank you to Lexi. So please go give us 5 stars. If you're not going to give us 5 stars, don't give us a review. Okay?
We'll take 4 for balance.
Yeah, okay, for truth, for honesty.
For truth
and growth. And if you give us 4 now, we'll make it a 5.
If you give us 4 now, you gotta tell us why.
LOL. But please go sign up everywhere and listen everywhere, and please pass it along. I mean, we're just so grateful that anyone has gotten this far. And we're very grateful just to have this opportunity. So let us know what we can do better. Email us letters at yougoodsistpod@gmail.com.
It's all good.
Question mark.
It's not.
It's all good.
We gonna be good.
We gonna be good.
It's not all good. We gonna be good.
We gonna be good.
The final note.
Mm-hmm.
Arrest and charge the officers who killed Breonna Taylor.
Say her name.
And
that's gonna be all.
That was the first episode.
We did it! Okay.
The answer's first.
Okay. Fuck it up. Okay.
I'm so proud of us.
Oh my god.
I am never gonna sleep trying to edit this.
Oh my god.
It's gonna be so good. I'm so
Crazy.
excited. I'm so excited.